Hi, everybody. See, people are coming on in here. I got shit all over my desk. My desk is a fucking wreck right now, and I am kind of an emotional fucking wreck right now. So if it feels like there's wackiness going on my end of things, that is likely why. It is likely why, because of wacky fucking wackiness, which is my life. All right. There we go. Hi, Brittany. So we're doing something kind of basic today because I'm feeling kind of basic today. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm tired and I'm flying out of town tomorrow for another non-planner related thing for 2 days, and I am just about ready to lose my shit. It's been a fucking nightmare trying to get this trip together. So, and then next week I'm going out of town for my grandma's memorial, so my brain is all over the place. Hi, Jess. Diva in Green, what is your regular name? Because I feel like I know this already, but I don't remember. Hey, Lakina. Anyway, so I'm going to do something very basic today. And the reason I'm doing a basic thing is because sometimes basic things are what we need. And that's what we're going to do. Hey, Pamela. Corey. Yes. Okay. Hey, Pamela. So today what we're going to do is very simple. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you 3 different ways to write the months and the days of the week, because we all use those in our planning. And I know some of you, Brittany comes to mind, probably don't need this. You probably are past this, but not everybody is there yet. So I figured this is a good place to go. And the next watercolor video I'm going to be doing is actually going to be experimenting with Peerless, the ones on the paper, because Julie gave some of those to me. So I want to experiment with those. But today I'm brain dead enough where I want to do something simple, and I figure that sometimes it's nice to go back to basics, and that's what we're going to work on today. So hi, Amberly. Hi, Laura. Yes, so it's good practice. Whoa, let's not lose this. This is good practice. What pen do I have? That's not a pen. Hello? Oh, God damn it. Sometimes I've noticed you have to take a second, like, repair the pen with the fucking iPad, and I don't understand. I don't understand all the things, so I'm repairing it. I just created iPad Apple Pencil sex going on right here. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to do bubble letters. So like this, bubble letters. I'm going to do foligraphy in 2 different, I'm going to do foligraphy in cursive. So I guess that's 4 ways. And then I'm going to do this style with the serif. This kind of a situation. Those are the 3 styles we're going to do, because those are the 3 I like the best. So those are the ones I'm going to do. Yeah. I know we're going to save bubble letter for last because bubble letter is the biggest pain in the ass. So we're going to start with the easiest one for me, which is the serif style. And the reason it's easy is because it just goes off of your printing. And the trick with this kind of a style is you can go like full straight, like everything lined up straight. I prefer to kind of offset it because I think that looks the most fun. That's what I do. You don't have to do it that way, but I do. Doing it on paper is fine. I'm just using the iPad so I don't waste paper. That's basically where I'm at right now. Anyway, all right. So we're going to start with we're just going to start working on this. So we're going to start with January. Now, I generally, when I like to use this serif lettering, I like to work with lowercase. I prefer lowercase for things like months and days. I don't know why. I think the lowercase looks a lot more fun than the uppercase does. You can do it either way. That's my personal preference. So when I offset, as you can see, I sort of tilt one in this direction and then one in this direction. You know, they sort of go differently. That's like the way I like to do it. Now, normally you can leave these empty or you can fill them in. I prefer filling them in. That's my favorite way to do it. You can also make this full if you want to, depending on what your interest level is. I'll just make it full for right now, for the sake of... Yeah, bubble letters, once you get the hang of them, you'll love it forever, but it takes a while. So how do you do these serifs? I'm working fast here, but like if this was going to be your N, then to picture it, you draw for all of like the downstrokes, like where you're going down, and then you add the serifs on, and that's where you construct them from. But as you can see, I don't really need to think about it that way anymore because I have done these for long enough. I'm just going to draw them, and you can watch how I do it rather than explain exactly how I do it. If you watch, you can start to see that I do the same things every time. And it becomes habit. Now for R, I like to do an R with the little blob on the end of it. You can just do it like this. I don't like that. I think it looks unfinished. And you can do it like this. I'm not always a fan of that either. I like the little circle. I think it's cuter, personally. But again, it's all depending on what you think is personal. And I'm spelling it wrong. Fuck Jan R. Airy. Jan U. Airy. You think I know that's my birth month, but no. Anyway, hence the iPad. You guys see how I'm just kind of tilting back and forth? That's, to me, the best part of these letters. I think they look almost like school-like. And then for Y's, I like to kind of drag them under. However, whatever the letters is, I like to kind of pull it under because I think it looks really suave that way. Corey, how do I get to where they're not all the place in the size of the letters? Practice, really. Practicing on graph paper can help because you get a better idea of like sizing when you can look at it on the graph paper. That's really where it comes from, is just practicing over and over and over again. And I still fuck up, and sometimes what I'll do if one gets bigger is I'll start to alternate the sizing to make it look like I meant to do that. I do that all the time. Now see this line here, right there? You can draw it in like this if you want to, depending on what you like. I actually don't mind having the line across. I don't think it like looks crappy at all, but it's personal preference as to what you like. All of this is. That's one of the things I want you to keep remembering when you're doing this, is that personal preference is more important than anything I show you, anything you see from somebody who knows what they're doing. It doesn't fucking matter. If you like something, it doesn't matter if nobody else does it that way. You know what I mean? Like, you do it your way. Now, like that I did not like where I placed that, but I'm just going to keep going. Because sometimes you don't have a chance to like erase it like you do on the iPad. Sometimes you just have to do it. And I'm going to bring the Y around again like that. I like doing that. That's a recent thing. I didn't always like doing that. And see, notice that February is starting to kind of go upwards. I mean, you could change it and like lean it, but that's something you got. Guidelines can help with that if you're really worried about it. I'm usually not that worried about it. Yeah. If everything, yeah. So basically, when you're trying to kind of bounce these types of letters, the thing that you really want to look at is where do things fit, right? So here's the M for March. So I'm going to bring the A over and curve it in, but I got to make sure that there's enough room for that. Otherwise, I struggle. And notice it's a little smaller than the other ones. Whatever. Don't get hung up. Uh-oh, I'm not going to have enough room for the H here. It's okay, though. We'll figure it out. Don't get hung up on perfection. Don't get hung up on making it perfectly right. Just keep going and learn from it so that the next time you can change it. So like next time I would start my March lower because of this Y right here because, you know, there wasn't enough space, but no big deal, right? The trick is you want to make sure to just keep going. That's the most important thing of any of this. Keep practicing, keep attempting it, keep trying. As soon as you stop trying, that's when you failed. Not screwing up where the letters go or having them be different sizes or not having them be lined up perfectly or forgetting the U in January. That's not a failure. Failure is not trying at all. Let me see what comments are going here. Thank you, Jess. And like, see, I'm not perfectly lining everything up. Like this R and this I, that could be a little different. I would lower this I next time, and next time I will. With L's, I like to make the top serif go one way and the bottom serif go both ways. That's my personal preference. The biggest problem I run into with this style of lettering is M's. Not because I think my M's don't look good, but because they're kind of awkward since there's so much going on and they take up so much space. It's sometimes hard to account for them. W's as well, but there's no W, I don't think, in any of these months. See, brought the Y under. I like that. It makes me happy. Hi, Taylor. Now with June, you can add the ball the same as I do on the Y and on the R, or you can just leave it straight. It's your call. I think I left it straight on January, and I'm putting the ball. Sorry, I bonked the camera. Experiment with what you like. Make note of what you like, and keep doing that. It's another important thing to do, you know? Exactly, Jess. Jess says she reminds herself that the wonky parts make it handmade. If you wanted it totally uniform, you would type it on a computer. Exactly. Go with the wonky parts. And remember, and this is something that I think a lot of you may not think about. When you're in the community like we are, where you see a bunch of what everybody's always doing, fancy hand lettering and all that good shit, you see that and you start to like get all fucking in your head about how you're not good enough, even though you've been trying, right? But remember, where you're at is different than where somebody you may know in real life who knows nothing about the online lettering and planner communities. And they might see the things you think suck and think you're a fucking genius. So if you ever really want to feel like that, if you ever really need a confidence boost, find somebody in your, like, have somebody in your life, like, work on your lettering in front of somebody who you think has no idea about any of this. Don't tell them you're doing this, but slyly start lettering in front of them, and they're going to be like, wow, how did you do that? And it's going to make you feel so good. It's my confidence booster there. Find somebody who knows less than you and let them compliment you. That's how I live my entire life. So for G's, this is how I do them with this style. Now notice how I did that. I kept it in one motion, round and around, and I keep going. My pen didn't leave the paper, right? And then to go down, I just sort of make a loopy. I'm not too worried about how perfect it looks, honestly. I really hate G's in this style. I know how to do them. I just think if you do them this way, and you have that, that also looks kind of janky. So G's are one of those that I feel like, to me at least, are never going to look as good as I want them to. So I just have reconciled myself to that. And with T's, I always add on that little tail there. Looking at your guys' comments about this. Hey, Deborah, I didn't see you sleep in. G is the weirdest letter. You're right, Kim. So, but yeah, that's something you guys... What the fuck did I just do? Why is it white? I don't know what just happened. Okay. Yeah, if you really want confidence, go find somebody who knows less than you and get compliments from them. Nothing wrong with that. Because to each of us, somebody else... Like, you're never going to be the best at anything. You're never, except for being you. You're never going to be the best at anything. There's always somebody who's going to be better. And so if you realize that, then that doesn't mean that you need to worry that you're never going to be good as somebody else. It just means you need to remember that, like, to some people, you are an expert. My spelling is right. September. Yes. Okay. Yeah. This is becoming the Cindy is showing you how to letter and giving you a pep talk video, and I'm fine with that because this is all I've got energy for right now. Notice how my letters were getting narrower and narrower. Like, look at this E versus this E. That happens often when I did not pay attention to how much space I have. September is one of those. November is another one because of the N and the M in it. They're long words that it's easy. With September, November specifically, I think December as well, those ones, you really need to pay attention to how much space you have because they're easy ones to overestimate and screw it up at the end. Speaking from experience. Exactly. Brittany said, save your work even if you don't like it. Take your old stuff out every once in a while to see progress. Yay, I'm glad you make it in. Cynical Planner, what's your name in real life? I feel like, just like with Corey, I knew it, but I don't remember it because I'm not good at connecting both. So, letter name tags for your coworkers. There you go. Alex. Sweet, Alex. I'm glad you made it in. I'm just doing some lettering of months and days in different styles and giving everybody a pep talk because that is about how much energy I have right now. Yeah, so that's the thought process, though, you guys. Try to, like, here, look at these. Those aren't even. I don't care. October. I'm more concerned right now with spelling it right than making it look good. You need to not get hung up on the small things because there will always be small things. I was talking to somebody once about their wedding and they were so worried about making sure it was perfect. And I'm like, you are aware that there will always be screw ups. Something, the catering's going to be late, or I don't know, your dress is going to have a stain on it, or your fucking maid of honor is going to have a fucking meltdown, or something's going to happen. Baby's going to puke on your veil. I don't know. Something's going to happen and screw your wedding up. It's without fail. It always happens. My wedding to Russell, the catering took about an hour and a half longer than we expected. And it was free. We paid for the food, but we didn't pay for the labor or for any of that. It's part of a wedding gift for my uncle. But everybody was like getting starving and the food wasn't ready yet. So we tried to find other ways to make people have fun. And even though that was a wreck and it was a little bit of a pain in the ass, it didn't really matter because the rest of the day was so much fun. If only I knew on that day how shitty that marriage would turn out. But the point being is that things are never going to be perfect. Hi, Kate. Hi, Carmen. What brush am I using? Oh, I haven't even said that. I think I'm using the Dawn Nicole Designs mono line. That's my favorite mono line to use. And I just beefed it up so it's easier to see. That's my favorite mono line, though. I think out of all, I bought that with the whole Dawn Nicole Designs. I think it's like 9 brushes or something, maybe 12. That brush pack is probably the one I've used the most. It doesn't change with pressure. Anyway, let me go back to my comments here and see what I was seeing. Anyway, we got Carmen. I'm glad to give you a pep talk. Oh, Kate, I'm so sorry you're sick. Or you're going to waste cranberry juice and vodka on your wedding dress. Holy shit. Baby wipes got that out? Lakina? Damn, son. But anyway, the point being is that it's always, nothing's ever going to be perfect. No matter how hard you try, no matter how much work you put in, how many guidelines you use, how much practice ahead of time, how much effort you spend making something look nice, it will still never be perfect. You will never look at something and think, holy shit, I could never have done any of this better. This is the best it will ever be. You never think that. And if you do think that, then you're going to stop learning at that point. You want to always be improving. It's okay, Sarah. Maybe I was at the courthouse where we were waiting to go before the judge. We got to listen to a woman discussing her case. Nice. Holy shit, Sarah, that's intense. So that is this style of days of fucking months. I'm gonna do the days of the week in this style as well. So yeah, you're never gonna get it perfect. The way I like to look at it is that when I was working at Trader Joe's, I used to write the order for the frozen section, right? So I ordered all of the stuff. I was in charge of restocking all of the stuff, and not only restocking it, but I also had to fill it up. You know, I wasn't the only one. It's a big section. Other people helped, but I was in charge of it. And there's a point when you're trying to fill it up during the middle of the day when people are shopping, where you're working and putting stuff out there and people are shopping at the same time. And you can continue to try and make everything perfectly filled and beautiful like it is when the store opens, but it'll never get there. You think about it like a scale of diminishing returns. And here's where you start, right? And then here is where things look good. They look decent. Like they look as good as you could hope for, but not perfect. But they look good. And then here is perfect. And this amount of effort to get here and this amount of effort to get here are a lot of effort. But the difference between this and this is small. The difference between good enough and perfect is small. but the effort to get from good enough to perfect is ginormous compared to the original effort to get there, if that makes sense. So it's a point of diminishing returns. Like, how much pain in the ass can you put yourself through to make your lettering absolutely perfect? How much shit can you pile on yourself? How much, like, dogging on yourself can you pile on yourself to make things look perfect when you're comparing yourself to other people and you're just trying? When does it stop? It never stops. So you have to be comfortable with embracing the, like, the not perfection of it, the progress of it, the how good it is in that moment, and not overly concern yourself with exactly perfect, because it's not worth it, man. You'll make yourself fucking nuts if you try and do that. I call this lettering the Sarah, yeah, Lakina, that's basically it. So I hope you guys realize kind of where I'm going with this. Like, when it comes to being perfectionist, when it comes to your lettering and judging yourself on how your lettering looks. Not just lettering, you're doodling, you're painting, any kind of creative endeavor. Now, you also have to know, and this is very important, especially if you do something like painting or mixed media work, you also need to know when to stop yourself. When you could keep going, you could keep adding more paint, you could keep adding more like layers, you could keep adding more embellishment. When does it, like, this is, I'm going right into the why here. Oh no, whatever. I'm just gonna go right over it. Fuck it, we're doing that. You guys can see it. When does it end? When do you stop? When is it enough? It's something you need to ask yourself. Because sometimes I've found that I have fucked up a painting that I would have been really happy with if I had just stopped and not gone 12 more steps deeper. You know? How do you know when to stop? Kate? Just do it like that. That's the easiest way to do it with a K. Don't even try and thicken that. It never looks good. At least not for me. That's my favorite way to do it. Hey, Nicole. Yeah. Down the rabbit hole, Pamela. Exactly. And it's important because I see people start to obsess. You know? You start to obsess. Whether it's your lettering, whether it's doodling, whether it's getting the perfect planner, whether it's getting the perfect anything. Planners are a great example. The reason planners are a great example is you spend all your time looking for the perfect planner. You know, you try a whole bunch of planners, you spend a bunch of money, you put a bunch of time into it, you think you found the one you like, and then it's about finding the perfect stickers. And you know, not everybody's extra like this, but a lot of us are. Looking for the perfect stickers, you're looking for the perfect washi tape, then you find it, then now you're like, oh, but now I need the perfect system, like about how do I do my to-do list, how do I schedule this, how do I do this, that, or the other thing. And you spend so much time figuring your system out that you're not actually planning anything. You're not actually using your planner, you're just embellishing it. And it's the same with lettering. You know, you could spend all your time worried about making your lettering perfect, or you could just spend your time making a whole bunch of beautiful lettering and using all of that as practice. When I put stuff on Instagram, I very rarely feel like I actually did something perfect. I just, I did it, and I don't want to do anymore. I don't want to spend any more time on it. I want to move on to the next thing. So I'm going to say fuck it and put it up there. And if people like it, then they like it. And if they don't, then they don't. And that's where I've got to leave it, because otherwise you get so fucking obsessed with it that you aren't going to be good at actually like, you know, doing anything. S is very much an asshole. Here, we'll do S very slowly for this style. S. Now, I want you to notice something here. This is how I write my usual S. That's how I like making S. Notice the difference in how this is sloped than this is sloped. I shortened this. And the reason why is because then I'm going to draw this in. And what the easiest way to figure this out is if you did, like, you draw your, that's not red. What the fuck? Okay. You're going to draw your S, your regular S like this. Okay? And I'm going to take this dark. And then you want to make the outside go here, and then the outside go here. And that's how you get the bubble S. This regular S should be the skeleton on the inside. It's hard to do that with sight until you get practiced. So an easy way to start would be a pencil and a regular S and practice drawing around it till you get the feel of it. Exactly, Jess. Jess said that the pursuit of perfection with her system, she had to pull herself back and remind herself why she plans. Yes, that's exactly it. It can just get exhausting, you guys. No matter what kind of creative thing, you get so caught up in the process of it and the perfection of it that you stop actually enjoying it. And then you burn out. And when you're burned out, you stop practicing at all. And that's the saddest part for me, right? Like when I get so burned out on something I love because I've spent so much time worried about whether it was good enough that I stop doing it at all and I lose my joy in it. I hate that. I hate being in that position. I hate feeling like this thing that I like has become a burden, or maybe even not a burden as much as like a job. I mean, whether it is or not, but like it feels like, if you've ever played World of Warcraft, there's these things called dailies where you have to do these same things over and over again every day for who knows how long until you get this one thing. And as soon as you finish those, a new set pop up. And it makes what's a fun game a chore. It's not fun anymore. That was one of the reasons I stopped playing. It started feeling like a chore. Like I had to keep up with all these boring things so I could do the one fun thing once a week. And I don't want creativity to become that for you, you know? Like you want it to be fun and awesome and fulfilling, even on days when it's maybe not feeling so great, you know? So it's important to keep that perspective. A blog post on perfection. Yeah, fuck dailies, exactly. Nice, Deborah. Link it here so we can find it. Right ass and bubble serif repeatedly. Yes, Corey. And then take a picture of it. So that was this style. The next style, which is slightly easier or harder depending on what you're good at, is cursive. Now, I'm going to do this with a brush pen instead of doing like foligraphy. Now, for foligraphy, you thicken the downstroke. But if you have a brush pen, especially if you've got like a Fudo Nasuki or a Tombow, it's a lot easier once you get the hang of it. Now, I'm not great at it. Whoops. I'm not great at it, but we'll make it work. You just have to remember to press down and then pull back up again, and then pull your pen. This is a very large situation we got here. Let's try this again. Fishing quests also suck. Yes, I agree. So I'm pushing down with every downstroke. This is not how you spell January. God, I am losing my shit today. Now notice, after every letter or so, I lift my pen off the paper. You're practicing with your upstrokes being light and your downstrokes being heavy. And that takes practice to get used to that. You know, it's not simple at first, especially if you're heavy-handed like I am. But you just want to lift your pen every time you change your letters, or every time you change kind of what you're doing. That keeps you on the level. If you just do it, I'm going to do February without lifting my pen. I'm just going to write through, and you're going to see how awkward it starts to feel. If you notice, as I'm going, I'm having a lot more trouble controlling the up and the down strokes. It's a lot easier for me to keep control if I lift my pen. Sometimes I won't lift the pen with an R, because R's you just sort of glide into it. It depends on what you're used to or not. Oh, if YouTube won't let you link, then drop it on the, exactly, Corey. Drop it in the post, Deb, if you can drop it on the post in the, on Patron, where this video is linked, that would be lovely. Because I want to take a look at that when I'm done with my shit today. You just have to remember, when you're pressing down, go hard. And when you're going up, go light. I know some people do hella flourishes and stuff when it comes to like H's, and you can. I often, when I'm doing something simple like this, I don't bother. It adds too much of a hassle. Like you could. I'll do it here with the the L. You could do it like that. Often what I will do is, all right, let's just do that as well. I often struggle with flourishes because I'm a minimalist when it comes to them. I like Grace Frozen. She does all the like wacky shit. It's beautiful to look at. I can't wrap my mind around it, so I like to keep my shit simple. Personal preference. If you like flourishing, my suggestion would be start lightly. Don't over flourish. Add little bits of flourish the more you get used to them. And then add on more as you get the hang of it. Don't just willy-nilly flourish all over the place, because you might find yourself overwhelmed. Now for Y's, I just like to sort of fling them off, like fling them off to the side. Fling them off to the side. I don't bother dotting my J's. I don't know why. You could. I just don't bother. So try flourish again. And then Y, fling it off, whoops, fling it off to the side. See, if I flourished the L, I would want to dot the J because I feel like it needed the balance. But if I didn't flourish, I think I would have not dotted the J. And again, it's practice, just seeing what you like, seeing what you feel like you've gotten the hang of, if that makes sense. Like, that's really what a lot of this is. Doing it enough times until you feel like you've gotten like your basics down so that you can feel a little bit more comfortable experimenting. My S's I like to do like this. It's more of a recent thing over the last like year or so. It's become my favorite way to do S's. I used to do them like this, but that's my new favorite way to do it. Look online for references for things that you might like the look of and use those as an example. Don't be a copier necessarily of somebody's style exactly, but see things from other people's styles and pull that in to start to develop your own. And if you wonder how to develop your style, a lot of practice. Practice and observation. Observing, if you were ever in one of my wild 30s, you'll know I said, I want you to go and look at lettering in all sorts of different ways, on packages, out in the world, murals, anything that you see out in the world. Look at that, because that will give you ideas on things you might like. You'll find yourself probably gravitating towards things that have similarities to each other. You'll start to be able, if you start to collect pictures, not like a mood board unless that's what you want to do, but like on a Pinterest board or just in your phone, if you start to collect images, you'll be able to look at them and kind of see commonalities in between the things that you really like. You'll start to identify the things that you really like, and that will help you with developing your own style. It takes time, like everything does, and it's never done. You're never like, done, got my style, no changes forever. That doesn't really work. That's not how you spell December, motherfucker. Like, we change. The person I am now is not the person I was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So it stands to reason that my style would change too, right? There are similarities between then and now with my style. But over time, I have found... Nice, Amy. I'm glad you didn't rear end anybody, though. Like, one of the things to remember is that there's so much inspiration out there. Art is literally everywhere we look. Packaging, advertising, the way that things are in nature. You can find art and inspiration everywhere. Even in the most barren, shitty of places. Even where you feel like shit looks like hot garbage. Look closely. Isn't that what they say in American Beauty? Look closer at the plastic bag. You can find beauty and things for your eye to feast upon. That sounds so fucking woo-woo, I swear to God. But like, I don't do this with the W. It feels mild, it feels like Disney when I do that. Not gonna lie. So I don't bother. But yeah, look for it. Look while you're out and about. Look. That was weird. It's okay. We're not gonna dwell. My S's have reverted to their usual form. This happens as well. Like, look for the things that make you happy, and look for the differences and the similarities. I do like doing this for flourish, right there, where I connect the T and the H together. I like that. That to me makes me very happy. So I highly recommend that as something to do. My bowing to the flourishing. You'll also find yourself when you're getting practicing with this style of lettering, this like cursive-y brush lettery style, what you're going to find yourself doing is getting into a rhythm where it's just like ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. When you find that rhythm, hang on to it. Go with it. Makes it so much easier, so much more intuitive to do it once you feel like you've sort of hit your stride. Don't ignore it. Listen to it. Woo woo for days up in this place. I'm just sort of being sloppy too. That's the other thing. I'm not doing the fanciest of hand lettering right now. I'm not one of Tombo's fucking brand ambassadors, and I don't think I would do that even if they offered it to me. Because goddamn, you guys, does that not look like a lot of fucking work? If you ever follow Tombo's Instagram, you will see that they have their brand ambassadors posting. I know they get paid for it, but like, holy shit, you guys. They have their brand ambassadors, I think like once a week or something. It almost feels like the same people are having to do new projects all the time. That is exhausting. No fucking thank you. I don't have that much hustle. I have like no hustle. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I said not gonna lie 18 times already today. It's been a fucking day. I'll tell you guys. This trip I'm going on, which is not planner related and it's somewhat confidential for non-planner related reasons, it's been a pain in my ass. All right, so that was cursive. So now we're gonna go to bubble letters. Oh, bubble letters, the pain of so many people's existence. Here's the thing, I'm gonna tell you right now. If you need to work with pencil, no big deal. All right, if overlapping is scary to you, no big deal. I still have one more piece for the overlapping that I need to do for the bubble lettering worksheets that I swear I'm going to sell, but they may just be a Patron exclusive forever. Who fucking knows, right? Like, life seems to be all sorts of all over the place. But with bubble letters, the thing is, you are never going to get better at them unless you force yourself to practice, no matter how much they stress you out. The reason being is because they are so much different than other lettering, because you're not drawing the letters, you're not making an A. No matter how you make an A, if it's a fancy A or if it's not fancy A, if you make it all like fancy and shit, it's still an A. But when you're doing a bubble letter, you have to go around the A, and that is not something you were trained to do in elementary school. So you're learning, and it's basically like learning to write a new language. So like that's in like a different, it's not in like the standard alphabet. Like imagine learning to write Japanese characters or something. Maybe not that difficult, but you're learning to write with different characters than you were trained to write. So if you think about it that way, hopefully that removes some of the issues that you might put on yourself when you're not good at it. Okay? I just want to remind you of that because I love, most of you know, bubble lettering is my favorite kind of lettering. When I learned how to do it, I was like, oh. And to this day, it's my favorite way to do fancy lettering. And I don't care if it's in style or not. I don't care if everybody's doing modern fucking calligraphy up and down all over the fucking place. I don't give a fuck because I love me some bubble lettering. And I'm going to do it until the fucking day I die unless I get bored of it. So I think bubble lettering is a skill we all should try and get down just because it's fun. And people who aren't fun don't bubble letter. Not because they don't know how, but because they choose not to. So I think you should try and be fun like me. Now that I'm done with that particular rant, we're going to go into it. And I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to be teaching you guys. I might give you some tips, but I'm just trying to... Sometimes it's nice to just watch somebody in real time do it because it gives you some ideas. But I tend to overlap with the first letter being the topmost letter because it's the easiest. It's much easier to overlap as you work than it is to try and anticipate the overlap. Now, there's some people who will overlap different letters throughout, and you can do that. And when I do that, I have to really think about that, and I'm not planning on doing that much thinking right now. So all of my overlapping is going to start here. This first letter will be the most forward. That's awesome, Jess. See, I'm telling you, bubble letters. It's my thing, bruh. And I will say that in the Michaels samples I saw, bubble lettering was there. Just saying. Hallelujah. Okay. So notice I overlapped from the start, and I'm just going to keep overlapping as I work. I'm kind of going up and down. I'm not super paying attention to what I'm doing, and it may not be perfect. If you're not perfect, no big deal. I might run out of room here though. And sometimes the pen, the Apple Pen, does not do what I want it to do, and I'm okay with that too. But see, you just overlap from the start and you work your way down. Takes practice. Takes practice. Just keep trying. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Bees are one of my least favorite. I think it's because I always feel like they look mildly janky when I do them. If I had to pick my least favorite letter to bubble letter, it would probably be W, followed quickly by G. X, not so much. Even though X is hard, I think I've come to terms with X. I think X and I have reached like a mutual understanding. But B's make me so unhappy. I feel like they almost look spermy. Oh, I'm yawning. February. Can't spell the day. I can't spell any day. Let's be real. My M's are not my favorite either, whereas we're going to about C. Again, I feel like I've just sort of come to a conclusion with my M. Sometimes I feel like I overdo it on the puffiness. Other times I say, fuck it, I don't give a shit. Today's one of those days. I like R's with bubble lettering. When I get a good R, I'm not always good with my R's, but when I get a good R, it makes me very happy. I think R's, when they're done right, exemplify what I love in bubble lettering the most. I feel like I'm philosophizing right now. Philosophizing, is that even a word? I feel like I might be making that up. Am I making that up? I might be. A's depends on my mood. But notice how overlapping goes. It's actually not that difficult. Just start your letter, pretend like you're keeping going. Like, give it a starting spot, work your way through like you would do it normally, and stop when you hit the other letter. Like, don't overthink it. I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to overlapping, they overthink it. There's really no reason to overthink it. It's just start. You're not overlapping, like the P isn't here. I mean, it could be, but like if it's not, it's really not that much covered up. So don't stress yourself out too badly over it. You can manage I okay. Yeah, I feel that. Well, I have those worksheets, and if you haven't checked them out yet, if you're newer and you haven't been here for the saga of me getting those worksheets ready to allegedly sell 8 months ago, there's a lot of examples there with both overlapping and how to do it, and just use those. If you have an iPad, put the picture on and reduce the opacity and use that to practice with till you get the feel of it. I love J's. J's in bubble lettering, that J, I love it. It makes me happy. Like this was the first bubble letter I ever felt really good about was J. No joke. N's, I feel like sometimes come out looking really janky. And with E's, I go in back and forth between doing the fatness here and the fatness here. Sometimes I feel if the fatness is there, it looks mildly sperm-like. Depends on my mood. Yeah, that's part of the problem, Amy, is making time to practice. And that's one of the most difficult parts. That's why I got to get caught up on the book club, because I just did not expect to be quite so. I should have. It's not like I'm, it feels like I'm being like really unrealistic when I think about actually having time to do shit. I'm unrealistic. I admit that here. This is a safe space. We can admit our unrealisticness here. I was unrealistic. Just like the 100-day project. I need to catch up on that, and I'm going to catch up on that. The problem with me is I was intending to do it while I was gone, but I forgot the paper. Why am I doing April? I just did that. I'm getting distracted. August. Holy shit. You guys are seeing like me being completely... Okay, wait. We're going to give G its own moment here. I'm going to give G a moment to shine, because G can also look spermy. I draw like that, right? Then I bring into a small, under-exaggerated situation. That's how I make G. If you add a little eyeball here, it's a little sperm. I just find that amusing. My G is very spermly. Spermy. And I like it. I like that it's spermy. It is procreating and creating all of the new bubble letters by interfacing in the whole. And then September. So for the S, 2 lines. That starts you out. And then you connect them. And that's how you get the S. 2 lines. I know it seems... You can even connect them to give you the S shape, and then follow that to make your bubble letter. But those 2 lines will get you to the S with practice. Working my way down here. Yeah, Lakina, I saw that. And the problem with, okay, so when people wonder like how I got so like, it's not like I'm the best in the world of bubble lettering, but it's fairly, what's the word I'm looking for? Natural for me at this point to do bubble letters. I don't even really have to think about it. They kind of feel like just writing any other letters. The reason why, and this is why I harp on you so much about practice, is because when I was working at Trader Joe's, I was so bored of the fonts I was using that I decided to learn to do bubble letters. And I sucked so much ass, and I can only put so many shitty signs out before my boss gets mad at me, so I had to get good at it quickly. So that's all I did for a while was bubble letter. And once I got good at it, I wanted to, that's not how you fucking spell it. All I wanted to do was bubble letter all the things. So I got tons of practice at bubble lettering. That's how I got good at it. Tons of practice at my day job. So I did shit tons of it. So I would never expect somebody on like a hobby practice schedule to get good at bubble lettering quickly. I fully realize that. However, to get better at it, you do need to practice. This turned into a lecture. I'm going to just draw for you and yell at you to practice until I'm hoarse. It's okay. As soon as I'm done with this, I got to go because I got to get some more shit finished before the end of the day, and I'm fucking stressed out as fuck. It's okay. It's okay. I'm breathing. Just keep breathing. So, yeah. Are you guys excited about the announcement about Chrissy Ann Designs going to Michael's? I saw the samples, and yes, my lettering and Steve will be showing up there, among other things. I'm very excited. I want to see if I can get my Michael's to let me do an appearance. If it even shows up at my Michael's. My Michael's is runty. My Michael's is like the miniature Michael's, like, and half of it's fucking fake flowers. I'm like, rude. So when I was there, I saw one of the Michael's people who like actually has some power. December. And I was like, can you please make sure it gets to the Napa store? Because that's where I live. And like, I don't want to have to go out of town to, I know it's first world problems, but fucking whatever. I want at my store, motherfucker. And they're like, we'll do our best. And I'm like, well, your best better be good enough. Like, be a fucking diva. I'm never a diva. That R is so silly looking. But you guys get the idea. Oh, getting low on battery. So we're getting close to the end here. All right. Oh my God. You wanted daisies. Yeah, no, like, I've gotten the fake flowers at Michael's before and I appreciate them. But holy shit, dude. Like, tiny Michael's, it's probably about a third of the size of a regular Michael's. And the bulk of it is fake flowers, frames, and kids shit. Like the crafting, paper crafting and art supplies take up maybe a quarter of the store, which is already a small store. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, to be fair, part of me's glad because we have a really excellent art supply store here in town that is locally owned, and I want to keep supporting them. And I get like they give a lot of good discounts. And if you have like the professional discount, which I do, and my daughter has the student discount, you can actually get good prices, even though it is, you know, not a big corporate chain. However, they are an art supply store for artists, not a crafting store. So when I need crafty supplies, Michael's is my best bet. And like, we had to go there to get something for one of my kids' projects, and they needed like little dinosaurs, like the little like plastic dinosaurs that you can get from models and shit like that at Michael's. And they didn't have any of those because it was too small. And I was like, are you kidding me? I have to drive for half an hour out of town to go get fucking dinosaurs for my kids' models because Michael's doesn't have enough room for it. Like, that's some raw bullshit. So that's my first world problem rant of the day. How about you? Yeah. No, Michael's, no, Kate. Michael's does carry dinosaurs, just not my Michael's. My Michael's is too small for dinosaurs. The dinosaurs are extinct at the Napa Michael's. You have to go to the Vallejo Michael's or the Fairfield Michael's. The Vallejo Michael's is fucking tits. It's so nice. Like, that was the one I would always go to before because Vallejo, so the problem with going to Vallejo isn't that I don't like going to Vallejo. I don't care. I actually don't mind going to Vallejo. That's where the Costco is and some other things. I don't mind going there to shop. The problem is the way that they developed the fucking like the roads, the way that Napa and American Canyon got built, the traffic is a nightmare. And what should be a 20-minute trip to the Michael's and Vallejo, like one way, is like could easily become 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the time of day. And that time of day, that window of traffic is getting bigger and bigger. Like, instead of traffic from like 8 until 10 and then from like 4 until 7 or whatever, now it's becoming like 6 until 12 and then 3 until 8. And so it's such a short window of time that you can get there and back and not hit this hellacious, snarly traffic on this one, 2, 3, it's like a 4-lane road between Napa and Vallejo, and that's it. That's all they have. There's not even back roads. The town roads, like with the houses, don't even connect to each other. You can only go that way, and it's awful. And so, like, it's not worth it to make that drive just to go to Michael's. Yeah, like, I know it's a first world problem. I'm aware. But that's why I want to make sure they have the fucking stickers and there's washi tape too. I saw the washi tape. Ooh, at my Michael's because I don't want to have to fucking drive to go see my shit. I want it to be in my store. So, Kate. So I will also give you guys some good... Whoops, I just did this already. Fuck, I did Tuesday already. Motherfucker. I need to do Thursday. I'm losing my shit. Okay. The other thing I'll give you guys the heads up on is while I was gone this weekend, I was able to get some people to say yes to being on the podcast with me, including, some of you know, for a long time, I have idolized the fuck out of Diane Reevely. If you don't know who she is, you should. She is a mixed media artist. She does a lot of work with Ranger. Like, she has a whole line The Dilutions products are hers. They're very bright, very off the wall, very funky, and I love them. I'm not a big Tim Holtz fan, not because I don't like Tim Holtz himself, but his aesthetic, that steampunky style, not my thing. Diane Reevely style, squarely in the wheelhouse of things I love to look at. And she said she would be on the podcast. And I damn near shit my pants. It was a moment, I will tell you. But I love her. Her, here, her, here. I love her. She's British, and I love listening to British people talk. Not gonna lie. Something about British people. I don't care. Like, you could be the biggest asshole in the world, and if you talked in a British voice to me, I would automatically assume you knew what you were talking about. That's what British voice does to me. In a sexy way. Maybe not in a sexy way. In a intellectually sexy way. Yeah. So, I'm so glad you guys love the podcast. I really am. Like, I was kind of nervous about doing it. That S is really runty, and I don't care. I was really nervous about doing it because I felt like maybe I was kind of stepping out of my own lane. But I felt like it was really important to sort of give me a chance to not be so visual. Because I am visual, and there's nothing wrong with that, but like, there's things I want to talk about where I don't need to be visual, and sometimes YouTube videos are not the best medium for that, and I thought that doing the podcast would give me an opportunity to like, have a different arena, if that makes sense. Thanks, Corey. Pamela, I talk to myself literally all the time. Like, literally all the time. I love talking to myself because I think I am a great conversationalist. My S's are looking super shrimpy today. That's okay. We don't need to worry about that. My iPad is getting so toasty. I can feel it like radiating steam heat from its undercarriage. I hope you guys, you got something out of me rambling and just sort of doing things in real time so you can sort of see how it happens. Because I'm going to do a K really quick, though, for Kate. I actually love my bubble letter Ks because I feel like I got the hang of them. Don't forget the K pants. You want the K to have a crotch. If you do the K without the K pants, it doesn't look quite as good. You want the crotch. Give it a crotch. Give your K the K pants crotch. Nice, Lakina. Yeah, Pamela, I feel that too. No, it was hard for me to do that one, but like hearing about like people talking about, like Heidi Swapp talked about her son's last picture and how she didn't know when they took it that it was going to be his last picture before he committed suicide. And it hit me really hard because like I don't like my picture being taken. Like a lot of people took selfies with me. I don't look at them, you know? I don't want to see them. And it occurred to me that I'm doing my kids a disservice because my mom did me a disservice by not having her picture taken. But just because I know that doesn't make it easier for me to commit to having my picture taken. Like intellectually knowing I need to be in more pictures does not mean that it's easy for me to be in more pictures. And I don't know the answer to that, if that makes sense. Knuts. Yeah, it's hard. And it's like, you know better. You know better. But it doesn't make it easier. And I hate that. So that's where I'm at. And when I did that episode, part of me was like, people are going to be expecting me to have answers. I don't have answers. I just want to tell you that this is what sucks. And this is where I'm at, you know? I think that's what the podcast is going to turn into. Me just rambling about whatever's on my mind until I get it off my mind. Pamela, your 15-year-old needs to learn that she's not the boss of you. Okay, you guys. Well, now that I have done this, I'm going to sign this off now. I will be gone the next couple of days, and then I will be back around. So if I am quiet the next couple of days, that's because I am traveling. It's basically flying, doing a specific meeting, and then flying back. So it's like a 48-hour trip where I'm going to be hating everybody because I'll be so tired. So I will be back in Napa on Saturday. Missed you, but next time, my friends, next time. Hasta la vista, babies.